100 million people. That is the number of Americans sitting inside the impact zone of what is developing across the United States right now. And this is not a one-day event. This is not even a two-day event. What we are tracking is a multi-day sequence of clashing air masses, winter fighting back hard against spring, and the collision zone between them is going to produce some of the most dangerous weather this country has seen so far this season. Let me walk you through exactly what's happening and why it matters. The southern tier of the United States right now is running warm, unseasonably warm. Moisture is streaming northward from the Gulf. The air mass sitting over Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri is loaded, humid, unstable, and ready to react the moment a trigger arrives. The trigger is coming. From the north and west, cold air is in motion. And when these two air masses, one belonging to winter, one belonging to spring, crash into each other over the Central Plains, the atmosphere releases that energy in the most violent way it knows how. Tonight and into tomorrow is Phase 1. The Ohio Valley and Great Lakes are the opening focus. Damaging winds and hail up to golf ball size are possible across Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. There is a conditional tornado threat for the border areas of these states, particularly if any discrete supercells manage to hold together before the line consolidates. This is not the most dangerous phase of the week, but it is not something to dismiss. The most dangerous element of tonight and tomorrow is timing. These storms are going to be active after dark. Nighttime severe weather is categorically more dangerous than daytime severe weather. You cannot see rotation in the dark. You cannot watch the sky and make decisions based on what you observe. Your only warning is the alert on your phone. Make sure it is on. Make sure the volume is up. Do not silence your phone tonight. Now, let's talk about what comes after the opening phase. Because Wednesday night into early Thursday morning is when the setup becomes truly serious for a large portion of the southern plains. A squall line, a fast-moving wall of storms, will push through Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas during the overnight hours. And I want to be specific about why overnight squall line tornadoes are so dangerous. When a quasi-linear convective system produces tornadoes at 2 in the morning, those tornadoes can be on the ground for minutes before a warning is even issued. They wrap inside the line. They are invisible, and the population they're moving through is asleep. The hatched wind risk specifically covers southwestern Oklahoma down through Wichita Falls and Abilene, Texas. Winds exceeding 75 miles per hour. That is not a thunderstorm gust. That is the kind of wind that takes down power lines, removes roofs, and makes driving on open highways genuinely life-threatening. For everyone in this corridor from southwest Oklahoma through north-central Texas, Wednesday night is your night to be indoors, phone alerts active, and shelter location already decided. Do not wait until the storms are on radar to start making those decisions. Now let me get to the day that has been standing out in every model run this entire week. Friday. Friday is the day, and the reason it stands out is a very specific atmospheric configuration that does not come together as cleanly as this very often. A low-pressure system is going to position itself over Kansas and Iowa on Friday afternoon and evening, and when a low sits in exactly that position, it organizes the winds at all levels of the atmosphere into a configuration that meteorologists call a textbook severe weather setup. The surface winds bring in Gulf moisture from the south. The winds a mile or two up rotate around the low. The jet stream aloft provides the energy and the shear that allows supercell thunderstorms to spin. The result is what we call discrete supercells, individual, organized, rotating thunderstorms, firing along the dry line and cold front from northern Texas all the way up through Iowa. These are not line storms. These are standalone rotating cells that can track for 100, 150 miles before dissipating, and they can produce all three major hazards at the same time. Tornadoes. The 5% hatched tornado risk zone runs from Kansas City down through the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. 5% is a significant designation. It means the Storm Prediction Center has high confidence that strong, long-track tornadoes are possible in this corridor. Dallas-Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Wichita, Kansas City. These are not small communities. These are major metropolitan areas sitting inside the highest confidence tornado zone on Friday. Hail. Baseball-sized hail from Friday's supercells. Stones that can kill, that shatter windshields, that destroy anything exposed outdoors. If you are in the risk zone Friday afternoon, Bring vehicles inside if you have the option. Cover anything you cannot move. Wind. Damaging straight-line winds with the strongest cells, exceeding 75 miles per hour in some locations. Friday demands your full attention from the moment you wake up. The severe weather initiation begins in the afternoon and could persist into Friday night. This is not a quick-hitting event. It is an extended severe weather day. And then Saturday. The massive storm system that produced Friday's outbreak does not stop at the plains. It accelerates northeast. A squall line stretches from Indianapolis all the way down through Houston. Damaging winds roll across everything in that corridor during the day Saturday. The severe threat then pushes east into the mid-Atlantic and northeast, Virginia, Maryland, through Sunday night and into early Monday morning. By Monday, the East Coast is dealing with the trailing edge of a storm system that began in the Rockies days earlier. Behind all of it, temperatures drop. The cold air that has been waiting to the north finally pours south behind the departing fronts. 10 to 20 degrees below normal for much of the eastern United States. After days of spring-like warmth ahead of the storms, the atmosphere resets hard in the other direction. Now I need to talk about something that is separate from the severe weather threat, but is arguably as significant over a longer time frame: the rainfall. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Illinois, Indiana. Over the next 15 days, these states are going to see rainfall totals that are 4 to 5 times their normal monthly average. We are talking about 5 to 10 inches of rain in some areas, 10 inches or more in the hardest hit locations. Let me put that number in context. The average April rainfall for Oklahoma City is around 3 inches. Over the next 15 days, some areas near Oklahoma City could approach 10 to 15 inches. That is nearly half a year's worth of rainfall compressed into 2 weeks. Fort Smith, Arkansas, Texarkana, Springfield, Missouri, Houston. These communities are going to be dealing with rainfall totals that the infrastructure was simply not designed to handle. That is not just a flooding concern for individual storm events. That is a compounding concern. The ground becomes saturated after the first heavy rain. The rivers begin to rise. And then the next storm brings another 2 to 3 inches. And the rivers have nowhere to put it. Flash flooding is the immediate threat. River flooding, the kind that lingers for days and affects entire communities, is the secondary and longer-lasting concern. If you live near any creek, river, or low-lying area in the South Central Corridor, from Texas through Missouri and into Illinois, you need to be watching the water levels very closely over the next 2 weeks. This is not one flood event. This is repeated, compounding rainfall on already saturated ground. The cumulative impact is what makes it so serious. And to the north of all this severe weather activity, across the upper Midwest, the northern plains, and into Canada, the cold side of these storm systems is producing heavy snow and potentially ice. While tornadoes are happening in Texas, a blizzard is possible in parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. Ice storms threaten areas along the transition zone. The same week, the same storm systems, just different sides of the front. This is what a true winter versus spring clash looks like at full intensity. The country does not experience one type of weather this week. It experiences almost every type simultaneously. Severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, flooding, blizzard, ice, and finally, an Arctic cold intrusion when it's all done. Here is your timeline before we go. Tonight and tomorrow, Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, damaging winds, golf ball hail, conditional tornado risk. Nighttime timing is the critical concern. Alerts on, plan ready. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, Southern Plains. Overnight squall line pushes through Oklahoma and Texas. Winds over 75 miles per hour. Nighttime QLCS tornadoes. Southwest Oklahoma through North Texas in the highest risk zone. Friday, the most dangerous day. Discrete supercells from Iowa to North Texas. 5% hatch tornado zone from Kansas City to Dallas-Fort Worth. Baseball-sized hail. Major metropolitan areas in the direct threat path. Severe weather active from afternoon into Friday night. Saturday through Monday. Storm system races east. Squall line from Indianapolis to Houston. Severe threat moves into Virginia, Maryland, New Hampshire by Sunday night. Temperatures drop 10 to 20 degrees below normal behind the cold front on the East Coast. Next 15 days. Rainfall and flooding. 5 to 10 plus inches in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas. Repeated flood events. Watch river and creek levels continuously in affected areas. Upper Midwest. Snow and ice on the cold side of all these systems throughout the period. 100 million people, 7+ days. Stay connected to every update. We'll see you in the next one.